Everybody, welcome to the explanation for Literature Lesson 1, Part 2. We're looking at page 38 and 39 in the textbook. So, number one, based on the information given, it can be inferred that Naomi and Esther dislike each other or share a close relationship, agree on most points, have similar shared experience, or have no respect for each other. Now, we should look at the introduction and see what happens. So, we're talking about Naomi let the covered fan from Gilbert's Funeral Home fall into her lap and assessed her daughter stretched out on the bed. So we can guess that Naomi and Esther are mother and daughter. Naomi is the mother and Esther is the daughter. She wants to ask, who is he? But she could not bear the thought of hearing a lie. So she wants to ask a question, but she's a little bit Anna. She doesn't want to hear her daughter lie to her. So maybe there's some respect because she's respecting her daughter's privacy. So I don't think number 5 is going to be correct. If you skip down to like around 25 to 35, the phone was fairly silent after its 12th ring. What's wrong with this Bruce anyway, Naomi asked. So the mother asked her daughter, what's wrong with the man? He's so young, replies the daughter. Young? Well, you're young. What do you want? A man? You're not ready for that. And the daughter says, you married at 17. And the mother says, yes, and I wish I hadn't. So they're talking quite openly about love. If a mother and a daughter are talking openly about the daughter's choice of boyfriend, then that would suggest that they are sharing a close relationship. So the answer is number 2. Question 2. Which of the following best describes the underlying conflict between the two women? Naomi doesn't like Bruce, but Naomi said, what's wrong with him? She doesn't say she doesn't like him. She asks what is wrong with him. So number 1 is wrong. Esther is going to college, but the conversation is about a man, not about going to college. Esther doesn't want to talk to Bruce. Naomi suspects that Esther has met a man, or Naomi has forbidden Esther to see anyone but Bruce. Now, it comes back to the introduction. She wanted to ask a question, but she could not bear the thought of her daughter lying to her. And she thought that Esther would interpret this as a trespass. So there's this, the tension is here, where the mother wants to ask a question, but she's a little bit angry to ask a question. So she thinks, at the beginning, she thinks that her daughter has met a man, but she doesn't know anything about it. So the answer is going to be number 4. Question 3. Which of the following adds to the tension between the two women? Esther's lying on the bed, Naomi fanning herself. Well, lying down on a bed doesn't make a problem bigger. Fanning yourself while it's hot, that doesn't make a problem bigger. So take away answer number 1 and 2. The ringing of the telephone, Bruce's lack of imagination, or the dreams of men. Now, the phone rang and Esther said, it's Bruce, tell him I'm not here. So the daughter says, tell this boy I'm not here. But the mother says, I'm not going to lie for you, young lady. And the phone rings several more times. So the phone rings and it doesn't get answered. The daughter wants her mother to lie for her, and the mother says, I'm not going to lie for you. So there is this tension, there's this problem between the mother and the daughter because the phone is not answered. So the answer is number 3, the ringing of the telephone. So look at question 4. Based upon Naomi and Esther's discussion, which of the following is the best conclusion that can be drawn about Naomi? She does not want Esther, her daughter, to be happy. She is afraid that Esther will make the same mistake she made. She is angry that Esther no longer seems to listen to her. She is supportive of Esther's college education, or she does not know what she is talking about. Now, the key is really down here. When the daughter says, he's so young, and the mother says, well, you're young. What do you want? an old man, you're not ready for that. The daughter says, you married at 17. And the mother says, I wish I hadn't. So the mother doesn't want her to marry. She says that you're not ready for that. You're not ready for a man. You're not ready for a big relationship and to marry. The daughter's saying, well, you did it when you were very young. But the mother does not want her to do the same thing that she did. So she is afraid that Esther will make the same mistakes that she made. Question 5. Which of the following is the best conclusion that can be drawn about Esther? She is willing to listen to her mother, but we just said she's arguing with her mother. Her mother said he's young, and she's saying, no, he's not good. So they've been arguing about that. She's playing games with Bruce. She wants to stay in college. She is unwilling to listen to her mother's opinion. She thinks she is smarter than her mother. Well, her mother says, you're young. Why don't you have a relationship? And the daughter argues, but you married. And then the mother is saying, that's what people do when they're young. But the daughter replies, he's got no imagination. The mother replies, I'm sorry you're in college. She doesn't want her to have these kind of ideas. And the daughter says, but imagination got you everything that you have. So what we have here is an argument between the mother and the daughter. So they're arguing, they're not agreeing about age, about imagination, about the ideas for a boyfriend. So because they're arguing about all these things, we can say that the daughter is not willing to listen to her mother's opinion. Question 6. If Bruce were to come to the house, what would Naomi likely do? Lie and say that Esther was not at home? Well, it said here, I'm not going to lie for you. So answer 1 is wrong. Try to force Esther to talk to him? Maybe. You say, you're big enough to do that for yourself. She says, you are big enough to talk to him yourself. Send him away, but send him away would be kind of the same idea as lying and saying she's not there. Ask him to marry Esther. Well, there's nothing about saying that she wants him to marry. In fact, she just said, if you look at the previous question, she just said that her daughter's not old enough to marry. And there's nothing about the guy's dreams. So the best answer really is try to force Esther to talk to him because she will refuse to lie to him. Which of the following would be the best resolution for the exempts in this excerpt? Well, we have to think, if we think about the resolution, we have to think, what is the conflict? The conflict is an argument between the mother and the daughter. An argument about different ideas for boys, about different age to get married, about going to college and getting new ideas. So if the conflict is about an argument, the resolution should be agreeing to disagree, settling their differences, finding a way that they can agree. Now, question 8. It says lines 16 and 17. What does the author mean when he says something took him by the throat? Then suddenly something took him by the throat. A frightful sensation that made him stagger and gasp harshly. So the Dark Knight would not have anything about his throat. It wouldn't be. It's about the throat and a sensation. A sensation means feeling. It's not going to be the night around him. It's not going to be about the windows. It's something more personal. Describing the fear. Well, the fear is a feeling, as if it were a person. Describing something like a person is called personification. So to grab you by the throat, a person can grab you, or an animal can grab you. Fear is not real, it's not physical. Fear cannot physically grab you. But the description is this feeling is like something grabbing by the throat. So answer 3 is the best answer. Phrase, And obscurity, which was like some black velvet textile or soft inky stuff in lines 4 to 6, is about the feeling of terror, what cloth feels like, the smoke from the oil lamps, the way the darkness feels, or the ectoplasm. Well, let's have a look at line 4 to 6. Maybe we should go back to line 1. The glow of the lamps through the high windows of the atrium had been extinguished. So the glow of the lamp had been extinguished, it had gone out. So if there's no light coming from the lamp, we can imagine that it might be dark. And wrapped up in obscurity, which like some black velvet textile or soft inky stuff which filled the space and touched Edward's face like ectoplasm. It's not going to be ectoplasm because ectoplasm comes later here. So it cannot be ectoplasm. Now, we have got black in the passage, and black links to darkness. And if the lamps have gone out, then there will be darkness. So the correct answer is going to be the way the darkness feels.